The young project manager wakes up to find himself trapped within a high wall, like a raft floating on the ocean. Jack slaps his butt in excitement, cursing angrily at whoever locked him in here and broke his cell phone. Sounds of scolding came from all around him, and it turned out he wasn't the only one locked up in a workroom like this. The next-door neighbor, Mr. Dusty, talks to Jack through the exhaust vent, telling him to appreciate the beauty of today, because tomorrow will be the beginning of the pain. Jack is not resigned to this, stating that he came out of the slums and is now middle class, all because he did not resign himself to his fate, and that there is a 50/50th chance that he will make it if he is willing to try. He scoffs and says, "I'm destined to make it. Ha ha ha. You're no fun to be around. You're so annoying. Ha ha." Just as Jack was getting frustrated, a whistle came from outside and someone threw food and water through the door. Jack rushed forward and said with excitement, "My wife is pregnant. I'm a project manager at the Mallard Duck Company. Let's talk terms." However, the other guy actually called him George and the employee whacked Jack's hand. The husky neighbor told him that the company had gotten them here, which Jack couldn't accept because he had been a dedicated employee of the Greenhead Duck Company for 10 years. He said confidently, "That's impossible. I'm the backbone of the company." Jack was in the prime of his life at the age of 35 and was eager to create a career. He looks at the company logo on the projection and surprisingly, it tells him it's time to start advanced career training. The projection reviewed George's past work and emphasized that without hard work on the part of the individual, the company's growth would be limited. In return for the company's efforts, George is assigned a new job that runs from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and consists of pushing mills, which earns him 1 point for completing it once, but he must fulfill a quota of 50 points per day. In the view of the Green Duck Company, completing the quota is just basic operation, and in order not to be fired and lose their jobs, everyone must work harder than anyone else. The employee with the lowest score will be fired, which is why George heard someone screaming in agony last night. The Mallards started counting down and the man over there kept urging George to work, saying that if he couldn't fulfill his quota for the day, he wouldn't have a good day. All George could do was take off his clothes and push the mill hard all over, but the graphite remained unmoved. Watching the clock tick away on the wall, George knew it was time to put up a fight, and this time he put his best foot forward. The graphite finally began to move slowly, and the sound of Ramo in all the chambers rang out instantly. Jack couldn't stop it and realized that the voice assistant had figured out the weakness of human nature. Jack couldn't contain his inner rage any longer, stating, "I'd just as soon fucking die as I wouldn't touch it." Graphite got his wish and became the first person with 0 points. The door to the chamber slowly opened, several expressionless staff members walked in, and the last one to come out was the enforcer, who had never shown his face. He put on gloves and tore open a piece of sterilized tissue paper, gently wiping the needle containing the poison. Jack clenched his back teeth and tackled the enforcer to the ground before turning all his anger towards the voice assistant and shouting the words that were deep inside him. Looking at the scene in front of him, Jack was dumbfounded, and it wasn't until the enforcer he'd killed with his own hands appeared in front of him in his shirt that he remembered he was taking an entry test for a new company. The man told him, "Congratulations, you are the first person in this batch of Star Spray Zephyrs who dared to challenge the rules and break them, and successfully passed the interview." However, when Jack walked into the separate office assigned to him by the company, he was not happy at all, for he knew deep down that he had just walked from one cage into another.